Wonder Woman 1984 has finally been released, and though we thoroughly enjoyed the film, it nevertheless prompted some head-scratching questions. The kind of questions that left us saying, what the f***? And maybe you had these same questions too, so we're going to provide what answers we can by turning to the comics, our interview with director Patty Jenkins, and our own geeky intuition. Our first big question is, what happened to Barbara Minerva, aka the Cheetah, at the end of the film? Well, after Wonder Woman stopped Maxwell Lord's plan, we got one last glimpse of Barbara atop the dam, looking fully human again and wearing a pained yet determined look on her face. It looks like her powers are gone, but we never saw Barbara renounce her wish like the others, which makes it possible that Barbara held on to her powers and can now transform into the Cheetah at will, making her a sort of werecat. IGN participated in a roundtable interview with Patty Jenkins, and we asked her what happened to Barbara. Jenkins played it a bit coy, saying, quote, "I have my reasons for making Barbara's final scene ambiguous, and I think it's not clear her point of view on everything that just happened. The truth is, there may or may not be more to come, and reasons for that." More to come? Well, even though Jenkins did not outright say it, that certainly sounds like she's saving the next part of Barbara's story for a possible third Wonder Woman film. It's worth mentioning, in the Rebirth-era Wonder Woman comic run by Greg Rucka, Liam Sharp, and Nicola Scott, Cheetah goes on to become an ally of sorts to Wonder Woman. So if she does return, then it may be to fight alongside Wonder Woman rather than against her, after they sort out their issues, of course. Our next big question is, how does wishing actually work? The film's rules on wishes are a bit murky at best, so we're a bit unclear on how everything resolved in the end. First of all, even though Max made the choice to give up his wish-granting power, apparently all wishes he granted remain in effect until each and every individual person decides to renounce their wish. So what happens with the wishes that were not renounced? We already have reason to believe Barbara may not have renounced her wish, so who's to say that other people didn't do the same? Surely among the billions of people around the world, at least a few made the selfish decision to remain as wealthy as Scrooge McDuck, or keep the pet dinosaur they just reanimated. I know I would. And even for those who did renounce their wishes, were there any limits on what could be undone? For example, the man who wished a woman would drop dead chose to renounce his wish, but we never saw her get back up. Did she die because he renounced too late? Can wishes even bring someone back from the dead? For that woman's sake, let's hope they weren't playing by Aladdin rules.
Rule number 3! I can't bring people back from the dead.
After such a big finale, we have to ask, how did Wonder Woman remain a secret after all that? Sure, Diana Prince has lived the past several decades under the radar, but given she spoke to the entire world, wouldn't everyone totally remember? And though this happened decades before the formation of the Justice League, it's hard to believe its more senior members, like, say, World's Greatest Detective Bruce Wayne, wouldn't totally recognize her voice. Knocking out security cameras is a nice precaution, but doesn't communicating with the whole world kind of make that irrelevant? Now, you may be wondering, who exactly created the Dreamstone? Diana does explain that it was made by the God of Lies, aka the Duke of Deception, but she had bigger fish to fry than teaching the audience about ancient Greek mythology, so we never learned more. Well, in the comics, the Duke of Deception was a demigod who served Diana's nemesis, Ares, the god of war. He may even be DC's version of Dolos from Greek mythology, who was the god of lies and trickery. Even the most devoted DC fans were probably asking themselves this next question. How did Wonder Woman make the invisible jet? Diana's iconic means of transportation was finally realized on the big screen when Diana used the same magic her father used to hide Themyscira to turn the jet invisible. In the comics, the jet is usually an advanced stealth plane made from the wonders of Amazonian craft. But for the movie, Jenkins and co-writer Jeff Johns came up with a fresh approach unique to the DC universe, and it actually does make a lot of sense. Well done. Next up, how can Wonder Woman fly? In the comics, Diana gains the ability to fly from the Greek god Hermes, but the film took a more character-focused approach to this signature ability. By thinking of her lost love Steve Trevor, his love of flight, and his thoughtful musings on how it's just wind and air, Diana is able to launch herself into the clouds and ride the wind currents in a miraculous display. We're not quite sure a physicist would let this one fly, but for the purposes of the movie, it's a nice way to tie a new power into Diana's emotional arc. Luckily, we have Jenkins to explain it to us. She said, quote, "I love that she learns how to fly in this emotional way, and that metaphor stands for something for all of us, which is you have to let go and embrace the truth and things for what they are. To understand that it's just wind and air, and so I loved incorporating both of those things." It is cool to finally watch Diana take to the skies, not to mention ride a lightning bolt to gain momentum, but it does raise the question, why didn't Diana ever fly in the other DC movies that take place after 1984? At most, we saw her take mighty leaps into the air, but maybe it's a good thing she didn't fly in those movies. Otherwise, we wouldn't have gotten this cool slow motion scene where a falling, flightless Diana gets her sword back with an assist from Flash. So those are all of our biggest WTF questions after watching Wonder Woman 1984. Are you able to answer any of them? And what are the questions the movie left you with? Let us know in the comments. Be sure to check out our other Wonder Woman videos, and don't forget to follow and subscribe for more from IGN.